Hi, my name is Candace, and I will be doing my interpersonal communication project for Liberty University Online HSER 508. Next slide. My name is Candace Dawson. I'm from Florida. I've been working to earn my master's degree in Human Services, Marriage and Family Counseling at Liberty University. I obtained my BSW from Florida A&M University in 2010. I have two beautiful children, Kaylin and Marcella Watson. I'm passionate about my faith and I love the Lord. Next slide. What is interpersonal communication? According to Stewart, interpersonal labels the kind of communication that happens when people talk and listen in ways that maximize the presence of the personal. Next slide. Interpersonal overarching goal, OAG, for me is to implement the knowledge I've gained and learned throughout this course material to become a better and effective listener. I also would like to develop the skills necessary by incorporating and using empathetic listening techniques to also become more focused, open-minded, and direct with the listener without being distracted. I also would like to become more self-aware of what I'm saying to people, because when I learn to do this, it makes it easier to fully understand the conversation and reflecting on what is being said. Next slide. This personality being. Disc, D, active, task-oriented. I, active, people-oriented. S, passive, people-oriented. And C, passive, task-oriented. Everyone has a predictable pattern of behavior because of his or her specific personality. There are 4 basic personality blend types. These are also known as temperaments and blended together to make your unique personality. This personality and behavior blend and what is expected of me is SI-CSI. Next slide. SICIS, this is me. SI, I'm sensitive and inspirational. I accept and represent others well. I also have lots of friends. I think things through. I always do and take charge when I have to. I prepare. I'm inspiring, submissive, and calculating. I tend to be more passive and active and outgoing when it comes to inspiring and influence others. I work with people instead of alone. Next slide. How my personality behavior blend SI affects my conversation. Positively, I'm kind, nice, caring, trusting, gullible, open, considerate, thoughtful, loving, sincere, honest. I chose these particular ones because they truly represent who I am. But on the negative side, it comes with demanding, assertive, bold, daring, convinced, cocky, forceful, strong-willed, and these are all things that I am not. Next slide. Interpersonal communication skills test. Overall, I scored a 72 out of 100. According to the score on this test, my communication skills are good. As you may know, interpersonal skills are the essence of social interaction, and they play a significant role in impressing you to make others. You seem to have a fully solid grasp of effective communication and put the theories into practice, but there's always room for improvement. All it takes is a little know and how and effort. Like most things in life, practice makes perfect, and you're more than halfway there. And that's from Uniquely You. Next slide. Potential barriers to effective communication. Recognize barriers to effective communication is the first step to improving your communication style. Tuning out to what the person is saying, interrupting, and culture. Culture becomes concrete in communication. How you deal with these barriers? In dealing with these particular barriers, it's important that we listen without interruptions. Do this. Sit up and engage into the conversation. Keep eye contact, and most important, never be judgmental and keep an open mind. Acknowledge that they are speaking by a nod of the head or saying yes. This shows that you're listening and being attentive to their needs. Next slide. Noise pollution. What is noise pollution? According to GuyOGs.org, it's when unwanted sound created by human beings hits our ears and disturbs the environment. Noise pollution is created. The solution to this problem? Many noise problems can be prevented by considering others and talking through problems. It is important to remember that by discussing a common problem calmly and in a collaborative spirit to find common solution. Next slide. Noise pollution continue. Noise pollution internal is anything that is happening inside a home or office. For instance, baby crying, Television on very loud, moving furniture around. In the office, it could be the phone ringing, the fax machine going off, or moving or shredding paper. Noise pollution external is anything happening outside the home or office. The next door neighbor talking, the car door slamming, or even a knock at the door. In the office, it could be cars driving past, construction on the building, or the air conditioner running. Next slide. Solutions to noise pollutions. For internal and external, could be to close the doors to the office, including the windows or blinds, to prevent distractions. Move the conversation to a conference room or even a new location in the building where there are less distractions. Turn off all electrical devices, cell phones, computers, etc. Enlarging the conversation. Communicating. The term communication and communicating label the continuous, complex, collaborative process of verbal and nonverbal meaning making. There are 6 important features of communication that are important. Next slide. The 6 important features of communication. Meaning. Communication is the process of collaboratively making these meanings. Choice. All communication involves choices. Culture, ethnicity, gender, age, social class, sexual orientation are all affected by communication. Identities. All communication involves negotiating identities or self. Who are we? Conversation. The most influential communication events are conversations. And last, nexting. The most important single communication skill. This means when you are faced a communication challenge or a problem, the most useful question to ask yourself is, what can I do, or how can I get something to help happen next? Next slide. Enlarging the conversation. Continued. In order to enlarge conversations, we must understand our communication skills and use that to enhance the conversation. It is important to know and be able to realize your strengths and weaknesses is to learn how to improve on them. By doing this, we learn how to communicate with others better. Next slide. Interpersonal communication plan of action. Empathetic listening, which is broken into 3 main skills: focus, encouraging, and reflecting. Focus. The first step is to orient your attention to the person you're listening to. Aiming your posture, natural or appropriate eye contact, move responsibly, and make responsive sounds. Encouraging. Pull. More talk from the other person. Say more. Keep talking. Could you elaborate on that? Mirroring. This means repeating a key word or phrase of the other person's with a question on the face in your voice. Clarifying. Question or open questions. Do you mean, or how do you feel about that? Attentive silence. Also stay focused and give the other person plenty of room to talk. Reflective helps you directly reflect the person's perspective in the communication process. Paraphrasing, which is a reinstatement of the other's meaning in your own words, followed by a verification check. Adding an example. Implement this by asking the other person to respond to an example from your own experience that you believe illustrates his or her point. Gently pursuing verbal and nonverbal inconsistencies. Next slide. Quality of communication. There is a direct link between quality of your communication and the quality of life. Throughout our lives, communication will be a constant thing we face every day. Learning to do it effectively could be a challenge, but I've learned many different techniques in this course that will help me understand the positive way of being able to communicate and listen.